All right. Now, Olga says one renowned psychologist in Russia has 6 rules for neurotic people, and one of these rules is answer only if you're asked. He says that if you can't hear silence, that's neurotic. For example, if you are with a friend and the friend says something like nice weather but doesn't ask anything then you shouldn't answer. You can say what you want, but it shouldn't be yes, good weather. Many people don't understand it because it's easy to lose friends like that. But he says we always answer without a question because we are neurotic, not because we really want it, because we are dependent on people, etc. It's hard to explain here, so my question is, yeah, let's get to the question. What do you think about that, Mehran? Well, I don't know who that is and what people say. I really don't necessarily focus on what other people say. I try to inwardly understand. Well, from what you're telling me, it tells me that we've discussed this in the videos before, that people think the attention and reaction that they want from people is based on the fact that they need affirmation. They want to be counted because all their childhood they've been compared to the others, and they have learned the value and affirmation that they have, the value that they have, worth and value that they have or they seek, comes from other people's satisfaction and affirmation. And the teacher says, oh, such and such a good boy, he got a good grade, and look at such and such boy, he's so polite, or dressed so nicely, or got a good grade in math. Always compared. So you're looking for that affirmation from the others to feel that you have accomplished certain level of worthiness. And of course, I go further about those videos. Of course, those videos are pretty elaborate, but in here we don't have that much time. However, what you're referring to is the fact that people respond because people are interested to seek refuge in an image. Their mind, their thought doesn't have a home in themselves. They can't manifest mind and body coordination. The mind is all over the place. They want to have it home. They want to have an image of themselves that would be impressive somehow to feel comfortable, because when the mind is out there, the energy is flowing and they can't harness it, but they say something in order to create an image, and that image is where they accumulate their thoughts in their mind, and they present themselves through that image. And they feel if the image that they present could get an affirmation, that would add to their value. So that's basically why people break the silence and say something, because they want to be liked, they want to get affirmed, they don't want anybody feel or give a negative energy to them, and so on and so forth. But there are people who don't give a damn about it, which is very good. So that is a short of a discussion, because that can go a little bit longer, as I'm sure you know. Kalani, aloha, mahalo kalani. I should learn a few more words. Olga says, yes, I agree with you 100%. But you know, if a friend write to you something like, I feel bad today, and that it's not question, it is so hard not to ask why, or sometime like that, even if it's about image. Well, you know, that has another reason, Olga. If I am friend with you, even if I'm not friend with you, even if I don't know you, the living beings on this universe are connected. In our case, the human species, the energy that goes through me is the universal energy. The energy flows from one end of the universe to the other end of the universe in all directions. And through its journey to the other end of the universe, this flow will pass through me, which I've discussed in my book, Me, My Psyche, and I. Mind Needs a Home, and the meditation explains exactly. There's a point 10, 20 centimeters below the navel. That's where all these energy lines that passes through one end of the universe to the other end of the universe pass through me. They join there, which is the same as center of gravity of my physical entity, which is when you focus on that point, mind and body becomes coordinated, which is then you can actually exercise and complete the exercise that I've shown in the video that I have, the end of fear, which shows somebody's trying to lift me up, which you will see what happens. And that's what I'm doing there. And if you haven't seen it, go and search for the End of Fear video. It's 50 minutes, but there are two shorter versions of just a teaser on to show you what that video is all about. 5 minutes and 12 minutes. Some bigger man is trying to lift me up. And you watch that, you will see this exercise that I showed there for a purpose of my seminar then. And you will see that the manifestation of coordination of mind and body takes place when your mind focuses on where your body's center of gravity is, which both are focusing on the same point, and then something amazing will happen. Which for that you can go and read it in my book, Me, My Psyche, and I, and also watch that tape that I've put there. So when that energy passes through, that energy is not just passed through you and then ends and dies. It continues its travel after having joined together all at that one point and flow out. And which is, it's going to connect with the other people and other living beings in this universe, trees included, animals included. This energy is what makes us tick, makes us be alive. Ki, Japanese called, Chinese called Chi. So this energy binds us. There's a flow, there's a connection, and there's a concern. And depending on how negatively charged or positively I'm charged, depending on how I have developed my mechanism and my machine to be a capacitor for this energy, to charge it and further positively, or take these wonderful energy lifelines and use it to become a more an entity of with ability of helping other things advance and develop, grow and develop. I would naturally, depending on the people and the quality of the energy that they allow to regenerate in them and extend from them further once the universal energy flows through them, I would see this connection. I would see that old man that is there, that I'm standing on the bus station, let's say, and he says, I don't feel good, or something, and doesn't ask me anything, but I care because I'm connected with him, with the energy. The woman that is walking wobbly a little bit, I may go want to help. She didn't ask for. Non-verbally, therefore, we are expected to say it's okay. But if they verbally express emotions of some kind, if they haven't asked anything, we're supposed to not care. We care not because we're neurotic, because we actually, not because necessarily we want the image, but we actually feel, how can I help? Because we're connected, because we see others, we see ourselves in the other people's mirror. I know how it feels if I am weak, if I need something, if I feel afraid, if I need some help. I know how it is if I'm hungry. I know everyone, I am you, you are me, we are everybody. I am the society, I am the humanity. So therefore, because of that, I know he or she is like me. I feel his pain in me. So if he says something without even having asked me anything, I want to help if I can. If not, I call 911, or I call the hospital or ambulance, or I call police, or I call somewhere they can attend to this person's need if I can't help it right away. If I find it not necessary for me to help, if I find it not proper, or find it not something I want to do, I don't have time to, but I care. So without going further into it, but I care. So when there's a comment coming without even asking me a question, I want to know, how is that person feeling? Maybe it's not because of the image. Maybe it's not because of my ego. Maybe it's not because I want to be feeling superior. Maybe I genuinely care because that's another human being just like me, has the same energy passing through him as through me, as through him. And we are connected through this energy. We feel the healthier everybody is, the stronger this whole environment that helps us to grow and develop will be. So naturally, maybe unconsciously, I am interested in his well-being because that well-being means better energy for all of us, which includes me. I feel better when he's happy. These are the connections that we have. So it's not necessarily because it's neurotic or it has an ulterior motive. It's because you care, because you are him. If you understand that we are all the same, I am humanity. You are humanity. Therefore, every entity is of your interest. Their well-being is of your interest, even if it's just a word that could make them feel more secure and closer to that elusive psychological security. And it all goes to that elusive psychological security, to feel good, to be affirmed, to be helpful, and to live up to the standards that we have put for ourselves and for the others, and be part of this whole flow of energy and help things to grow and develop further. Now, G, time for another shot of this wonderful, delicious concoction. Lovely. Kalani says, Zahin, okay, that's it. You're talking to each other, okay. Zahin says, thank you, sir, for the answer. As always, your reply brings so much positive energy. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Olga says, I saw that video and didn't understand at all how he couldn't lift you up. Yes, yes, it was amazing. Yes, it was amazing. Just imagine how I felt the first time that I did that exercise in the practice hall. I was first year in university. No, I wasn't first year in university, but I was white belt. And it was totally amazing. The student who was practicing with me, because everybody had to team up 2 by 2 and then practice the exercise that the instructor just showed us. And he was a 1.5 times taller and bigger than me. He could have easily, there was no physical reason for him not to be able, especially the minutes, second before, he lifted me up so easily. It was easy for him. And of course, I went on from that, and then he couldn't. I said, oh, gee, there's something here more than what I thought this class is all about. It's not all physical. Then, of course, I was very interested to further. And then, of course, I remember I tested that on myself with all kinds of people. In the gym, when I used to train in the gym many years ago, and I'm just a regular sized person, and I had friends who were big bodybuilders there, and we would be cordial in the gym, and we would talk about these sort of things, and they were interested because some of them were my students in my class that I was teaching in one of the dojos in town once a week, and I would helping people to understand their inner powers through Aikido. And these bodybuilders, which were just humongous compared to what I was, they were amazed. And it wasn't just that. In one of the demonstrations, I asked my son, at the time was 5-year-old, and I had taught him there, and he knew. And I simply, in one of the demonstrations, in one of the dojos, there was some kind of a celebration in the dojo that I was helping to teach. I was teaching this and helping them to introduce, to be more successful in that dojo with whatever else they were doing. I introduced this in that dojo, and then a celebration, I when my class was doing a demonstration, I just picked somebody from the audience. It was a big man. And I asked my son, 5-year-old. I asked him to put his hand underneath his arms and lift my son up. And so sure enough, a big man, 5-year-old boy, easy lift him up. And then I told my son, do now what we know how to do. Same mass, same person. He tried to lift. He could not understand. And because there are things in this life that is not all physical that we can see. If that was the case, how do you explain where is the connection of the heart with the frequency of the electricity that it needs to function? You can't see a wire. Yeah? Where is the connection of our brain to function? Where does it get its power, which we all know it needs electrical current, to do the thinking and the process that it does? There is no wire to our brain from the, electrical pole there. So it's not visible, is it? But there is a connection that is passing through this energy constantly. Therefore, perhaps that is why it facilitates. What about when you sleep at night and you wake up in the morning and you're very vigorous? And then you go about doing your things. And then eventually through the day, as you use your energy, you're depleted. Even if you sit on the couch and do nothing, watch TV, in the afternoon you feel, oh, you're exhausted. You're not as vigorous as you were in the morning. What is that about? And then when you sleep, again in the morning, you're charged up. Where's that coming from? Is there an energy that fills us up? Like the battery of a toy, that you play with the toy and it runs out, and you take the battery, recharge it, and then you put in the toy and the toy runs up and then it depletes again and you recharge it. Isn't that the case that is happening with us? We sleep, we recharge, we use it. Even if we don't move around, just sit around, it's used, facilitates our livelihood, and then we have to recharge again. Often people come from work and they say, oh, I gotta sit, take the load off of my feet. And they do that because they know if they stand all day holding something, eventually they may get tired and crumble. So they come from work and they say, they sit on the couch, put their feet up and say, I want to take the load off of my feet. But nobody you hear says, all these challenges, the most challenging in life is mental. The economic challenges and relationship challenges, work challenges, study challenges, and bills, payments, disasters, misfortunes, all these challenges, all mental. But you don't hear anybody says, oh, I gotta take the load off of my mind, of my brain. Nobody does that. We go to the gym, strengthen our bodies, when nobody thinks about strengthening the mind, because there is a way to strengthen the mind as well. That's through meditation, which of course I explained it through my book, Me, My Psyche and I. You can definitely acquire that book and read it. Read it, enjoy it, one chapter at a time. So all these are invisible. We cannot rely and think that all our life experience should be or is based on what we can understand, what we can visibly see. There are many things for us to learn. And one small part of it is what you saw in that video, which that bigger man couldn't lift me up, which is no surprise to me anymore. I have many experiences like that, which is for another time, another session. And Olga says, yes, sometimes I can't understand if I answer because I care. I am like that. I care about people, or if it's because I have of an image, and that's a bit unhealthy. Thank you so much, Mehran. You're quite welcome. Don't worry, it's not unhealthy. It's just part of our conditioning. And we try to see if we can just focus on the helpful part rather than acquiring image and affirmation from the others, because then that becomes important, and then we become dependent on how other people think about us, which limits us from being free in our experience in our daily lives. Robert says, that discussion for how we are all connected was incredible. Okay. Good, Robert. Glad you enjoyed it. I feel others' emotional electricity often. I may be a highly sensitive person. Can everyone feel that highly sensitive may be only 20% of the population? Took me years to accept my perception. It's okay. Just don't sweat it too much. Don't pay too attention to it. You just, when you feel it and it's not tasking on you, that's fine. When it comes to tasking, you just, if it's not necessary for you, you don't need to feel everything. Otherwise, it drains you a little bit more than it should. But of course, you can always meditate and then replenish yourself right away. When I learned how to, in our martial art classes, how to extend energy, and for headaches and backaches, and help healing students, and learning how to massage with energy and so on. When I would do it for families and friends and so on, and it would of course be draining, because it wasn't just a physical massaging. It was all connecting and then extending energy through the fingertips to the points that we had learned how to do it. And when we were not always so strong, it would be draining afterwards. You would actually feel the energy, and you need to replenish, which either through sleep or through a 15 minutes, 10 minutes meditation, you would regain that. And it would be just an amazing feeling of refreshment, and a way to feel what cannot be visible by eyes. We could feel actually what takes place when you meditate, and how you get charged up. And that charging up that we can't see, what we could actually be witness to its effects, and see and become sure that that actually is part of the exchange and interchange and conflux that we naturally have with the universal energy, which we try to learn through meditation, and then expand it, enhance it, and use that flow of energy inwardly, not just when we meditate or when we sleep, also when we are walking around, running around, playing sports, and have the energy replenish, which would help us to run out of energy much later than we would normally do if we didn't know this technique of having the conflux and interchange, replenishing, happen all the time while we're using the energy. Not just use it, finish it, and then replenish, but use it and replenish at the same time. These are fascinating topics. I hope that one day when it's ready and we have enough people, we can have a meditation session that we could all enjoy and just feel amazingly wonderful, and be connected more with the flow of the energy of the universe. So, having said that, I don't want to spook you guys out when some people may not be aware of all these things and say, wow, these are not new. Okay.